Welcome to the Dog Name Podcast. I'm your host, Winston Hodges, and today our guest is very funny, Mr. Shaun Murphy. Everybody,
Hey.
yay! We're lucky to have him in town.
Thanks for having me.
So, what we're talking about? Let's talk about the worst clubs on the universe.
I got a list.
Yeah, I got a list though. Yeah, it is funny because it is. We won't talk about obviously what we were talking about, but it is really funny that I never understand when comics will get on a podcast and they'll say stuff that I'm like, I really think that. I don't see how this doesn't hurt your career to say this, dude.
Yeah, we were talking a lot of shit before we hit record.
Before and the camera comes on, and now we're immediately media trained. Now I had I made a post about some of the good specials that came out, and I was like, when you watch a bad special, you should watch a good special immediately afterwards. And because of when I posted it, people were like, "What special did you think was bad?" And people were commenting what special that it was.
People really want to know. Like, people love comedians talking shit,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really, it doesn't help, it's not good for us.
No, not at all.
And also, it's so weird because it's like, there's not going to be like a crazy, it's like, hey man, if you don't like a thing, we probably don't like the thing.
Yeah.
You know, we're not gonna blow your mind of
with the take.
oh, this, Chris Rock secretly very bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
Yeah,
we all
bad
think
comedy.
the same people are funny that you do. We're not throwing you a crazy curveball.
No, because it's so true. Then they love the shit talk from comics, and then but also all that it's when we're shit talking other comics. Like, we're at the point now where it's like we're probably gonna have to talk to these people if they not like it's great when it's a brand new comic that has no ability or skill.
Well, you want to tell people, like, go publicly talk shit about people in your office.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what your podcast should be.
Yeah. You make videos that be like, Maureen in accounting is the worst.
Yeah.
She can't
She's a
add.
stupid
She smells.
bitch.
Like, you wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's so funny. Have you seen this slut's spreadsheets? She can't. Now, honestly, that would be such a funny a guy being like, hey, have you heard Tom's new podcast? Like, what's it about? He's like, it's about us. He just gets on there and he tells stories and talks shit about us. And it's like,
But yeah, I'm a big special watcher. I've tried to train myself to watch specials because we're the only art form, if you could call us an art form, that doesn't like, you talk to any comic in the world and they're like, oh no, I would they're like disgusted that you watch specials.
The idea of
they
doing
look down at you that they watch specials, but like
that was my first instinct when you said how many you. There's I remember we were talking like a week ago, and I watched a ton of specials all leading up to me doing stand up, and then I watched some the first few years, and then the more I started to do it, I just literally was like, I just don't think my thing was like, I don't think I can watch them anymore, because I just was like, I get such little free time that it was like filling my free time with more comedy, more work just felt like a lot. But then after we talked and you're like, yeah, some days you're like, I'm just doing chores and I'll put 4 to 5 specials on. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I just have one day a week, well, maybe 2 to 3. I'll just put it on in the background. I'm doing other stuff. But I feel like directors watch movies.
Yeah.
Like musicians listen to music. And we're like trained to be like, no, I can't. It'll influence my precious brain. And it's just like, so it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think some people are afraid to watch them because I think if more people watch them, there would be more people being like, well, I have to cut that joke.
Yes,
I can't do this joke.
Yes, and I think you watch good specials and it inspires you.
Yeah.
Right? And then you watch medium specials and you go like I have a joke like that, I should cut it, or I have a joke like that, I should make mine different or better.
Yeah.
And you watch bad specials and you also get inspired. Yeah. You know?
I mean, like I when I posted on Threads the other day, I really was like, when you watch a really terrible special, because I think I do agree with you. This. I'm back to now watching specials because we talked. I've watched 3 in the last week. I'm going to continue to do more when stuff comes out, and I'm having fun watching them again. Yeah. And it was it is fun. It is. I've watched 2 great ones, 1 terrible one, and then I watched the terrible one a second time. But I think it's better to watch a terrible one and then immediately follow it up with either a good one that you haven't seen yet or like one of your favorite specials, because it is pretty nuts. Like, I watched the terrible one, and then I watched Patton's new special, and I watched them back to back. And Patton's was, I don't think it's his best special. I would think on a grading scale, I'd give it a B to B+. Like, it's a really good, solid special. But it is everything that, like, I loved about comedy, which is like a huge act. He's working in a club. He's at Comedy on State. Yeah. So he's filming it in one of the best clubs in the country. It's 55 minutes of just jokes. He tackles like some topics that can be kind of offensive, and it runs the gamut. And he has a really great closer. And it just was a thing where I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And from the bad one I watched, I was like, man, this is everything that I hate about comedy. And just watching them back to back, it really makes you appreciate it. It really inspired me talking to you, and then doing that inspired me to where it's like, oh, I'm gonna watch. I watched Dan Mintz's new special. Unbelievable.
Well, I invented this game.
Okay.
You're gonna shit yourself. You're gonna love this. Okay, so I invented this game. One day I had like a road gig with like a buddy, and it was like a long road gig, and I was like I thought of this game, so I made a playlist on Apple Music, and I added every comedian I could think of, like everyone, friends, famous people. I put tons of albums into this thing, and so when you're on a road gig with a buddy, you go to I'll send you the playlist.
Please do.
You hit shuffle, you listen to a track, and then you talk about it.
Oh, that's fun.
And it's fun because you get a little bit of everything. Like there'll be shit talk.
Yeah.
Right? Inevitably. But like there'll also be like you'll hear really good stuff, you'll hear really bad stuff, you'll hear mediocre stuff, and then you talk about it like, why did I like this? Why didn't I like this? Is there something that they do that I do that I want to get out of my set? And so I play this on the road with comics all the time now, and
that's fun.
It's incredible.
That's so fun. Yeah,
actually, and there's still tracks like with friends where we're like, oh my god, remember this track?
Yeah.
Or like, man, that was a killer bit. That person, like
because the tracks are broken down into bits. It's one bit at a time.
One
right?
bit at a time.
Yeah.
So
that
you
sounds right up our alley.
you listen like 2 to 5 minutes, right? And it could be like anyone. It could be like your friend. It could be Chris Rock. It could be Patton.
That's
it could
so
be
fun.
anyone. And it's crazy to see like. Because you could get a bad comic's best track, a good comic's worst track.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to kind of talk through.
Yeah, that's fun. I would love to do that. But talking about like, the tracks are just a joke. What I've always thought is interesting is like when you listen to an album of a comic that does a bunch of one-liners, and it's like, I'm always just like, man, it's really interesting. Like, why did they group these one-liners together?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is this? Because sometimes they don't have anything to do. Like Dan Mintz's new special, which is like well-rounded. Something I can't think of what it is. It's really good. It's like, I think it's the culmination of his entire 20-something years of doing stand-up. Because I went to, like, he was doing jokes in it that like I was like I feel like I've heard him do this before, and I went to like his Letterman, and I went to like his, I don't know if it's Corden Colbert, but something from like 9 years ago, and some of those jokes are in it. So I think it really is like you're getting and it's like 45 minutes or 42, 43 minutes, and there's like 160 jokes in it.
Damn.
And there's some jokes in it that are like, I'm not a one-liner guy at all. Like, I don't have the ability to do that. And those are the guys that I think I'm generally more attracted to for like rewatchability, re-listenability, because I do think there's something fun about like, I used to love when I was a kid before I got into comedy, going to school and telling people jokes that I'd heard on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
And the one-liner guys are the ones that are like, dude, Dan Mintz, he has a joke on the special that it's my new telling people in the green room joke that I think about, where he's like, I think it's a perfect joke, where he goes, women have to be blind to date me, and I will not compromise on that. And I was like, that's just such a good, you know what I mean? Like stuff that's like, it's just a good, well-written thing. But like, I am always astounded when I go to an album and it's like, why? Because I know why comics put bits together. I know why they do chunks, but the one-liner guys, I've never understood like how you picked those 6 to go together.
That's what's fascinating doing specials or tracks on albums, because like it's not like you walked in on someone, maybe they're doing a new thing, or maybe whatever, or maybe the crowd sucks. You're like, they released this. This is in their mind. This is their best stuff they've ever written, or written, if the second, third album written most recently, and they're proud of this. And like to hear that, because it will run the gamut. You'll be like, I can't believe someone released this.
Dude, that Bad special I watched recently, it doesn't make sense, A, how it got released by the person, and B, how the company let it get out.
Was like the crowd enjoying the special?
No,
really?
He's bombing in it.
Yeah.
You would agree, right?
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely watching it. That's crazy.
He is bombing in it.
Or she. Who knows who we're talking about?
No, I've never seen a bad special from a woman. I've never seen a bad special from a woman. They're all brilliant. Or she, or they.
Yeah, we gotta don't leave breadcrumbs.
Or they. It's the Sklar brothers. It's like,
are there any specials that either of you think are like really, really original in some way?
It's like perfect. I mean, it's fresh on my mind, and I'll just say quickly, and then I'll move to other ones. But like Dan Mintz one's fully animated. He took an audio album
wow.
and he had an animator
Oh.
animate it. Like, so it's like just a full on cartoon of him doing stand up, and so he's doing bits on like the album version where he's like, this will be great animated, and then just end up animating or whatever. So that one's like really interesting and unique.
I would also argue I haven't watched the doc yet. You know this Jim Downey documentary?
Yeah, it's great.
Have you seen it?
It's really good. Yeah,
I read an article about it because I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet. But there's like an anecdote, and it's probably in the documentary where he tells this great story. It's this guy who wrote on SNL for years, and I guess someone was like kind of being flippant to him, and it was like, "Oh, how was the show last night? Did you guys parody politics and do a commercial parody?" And he was kind of like, "Yeah, but at a certain point, like." That just is what it is. Like you don't go to a restaurant like, let me guess, you're gonna serve me food and I'm gonna sit down like, oh, Mexican place, tacos, how original. Like at a certain point, you can overthink it so much that it's not like, comedy just that is what it is. You're one person, you're on stage, and sometimes adding too much gimmicks is just that.
I think
it's
so
a gimmick.
too. I think, and I think it can like sometimes hurt it. It's like, but in examples of where it didn't was, Dan's is good. I liked Neil's 3 mics.
Okay,
like I did like that. Like I did like the idea of like there's a mic for each of these things because that's just a little change on the form. You know what I mean? It's still a guy. It's still a guy doing it.
Who, Neil Brennan?
Yeah, Neil Brennan. He's like one where it's like I don't think it's his first special, but it's like it's a really good one where he goes up and he has like a mic for short jokes, a mic for bits, and a mic for like sincere stories or something like that. And it's just like so you know what it's going to be each time he goes up, and he's like rotating between the 3 mics or whatever.
Walk from one mic to another. He made that funny. I guess it seems like.
Well, no, I mean it's just like I think they're all pretty close to each other. It's not like crazy. And
Right,
it's
yeah.
like but it's good. I mean like that was a good special. But I'm trying to think if there are any other like ones that are
And it's
like
also,
kinda
I mean,
crazy.
it helps. It's like when it's a good comic and they do something a little different. Like
Yes.
you're in good hands. Sometimes you see a not good comic do something, and you're like, you need this crutch because
dude,
you don't have the underlying mechanics.
Or like even it's so funny. Even like a local scene level. There's stuff where it's like I'm sure because you started in Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
How long were you doing comedy in Buffalo before you moved to New
About
York?
10 years.
So 10 years.
Yeah.
But like I'm sure there were times where you were like at open mics or at something like that, and you would see a comic that always bombs, and they would come up and be like, "Yeah, man, I got this like weird experimental show I'm doing next week." It's like, oh damn, it's like you suck at this.
Yeah.
That's great. I don't know. We should be experimenting.
Well, even like so many comics would do that thing of like, I'm moving to New York, and you're like, your city that you're in now is not the problem. Do you know what I'm saying? Like people have this thing of like, I'll move and then that will fix everything. And you're like, I mean, it'd be one thing if you're like a trans comic and you're in the middle of nowhere and like people aren't like giving you like the time of day. It's like, oh yeah, you should move to New York. But like there are these comics that like, I don't know, man, like if you're not killing in front of your family in your hometown, like do you think you're gonna go to the best comedy city in the world and like that's gonna solve everything?
Yeah, I think that does happen a lot. You will get like a lot of comics that are just like the solution isn't a move.
Yeah,
it's not. It's reflection. It's rewatching your set. Because my thing is like, do those people watch their sets? Like, do they rewatch? You know what I mean? Because it's like because there's definitely people that will go on stage, get off stage, think they killed. That's one level of delusion.
Yes.
But like, do they watch the tape back? And you know what I mean? Like, because when it's like when you're looking at it, like, oh, this is like, or are you just a guy that's like, it's like, man, I guess the microphone on my camera sucks.
Well, you want. And you don't want to drive yourself crazy, but the best comic is the one. I think the best artist is the one who's always hard on themselves.
Yeah.
Like I worked with Attell once, and he murdered, and got off stage like I'm a hack. And it's just like oh, okay,
God,
dude,
damn.
And like, but then you see comics who are like don't do well, and they come off like they're hot, and you're like. Oh, all right.
Bombing and getting off stage, like, follow that. Good luck, Shaun. I've seen ones where it's like a comic will be talking about a show they were on. They're like, oh, yeah, everybody was bombing, man. I did okay, but everyone was bombing. And then you talk to someone else, and they're like, they had the worst set on the show. What are they talking about? I was bombing.
Well, a buddy put it great to me once. He goes like, you'll talk to some comics and they'll be like, oh, I killed last night. It's like, but you live in the same city as Attell. Like he killed last night.
Yeah.
You did
pretty good.
Maybe you did pretty good. Yeah.
You did all
nothing
right.
wrong with that.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with it. Pretty good.
Man, I like getting back to specials and stuff. ones with like gimmicks or whatever. It's like, yeah, I've generally always just like just a regular person doing stand up.
Yeah.
I also like I still stand on this. I think albums are better than specials, like across the board.
Well, and what sucks in making this game I told you about is that like a lot of modern day comedy is not done through audio.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. I feel like
sucks,
that's,
man.
you know.
I've posted about this. I really think somewhere around 2012 they all decided they were going to not mic the audience correctly in every special. I think that it's like I think that most Netflix specials the audience sounds bad. I think most like independent specials, even like albums, there's just something about like I just don't think they're using enough mics. Like where it's like you listen to Skanks for the Memories, Attell's album, and it's like 2002, 2003 or something. Like it's like at this point literally almost 25 years old, and you're hearing ice and glasses clanking around.
Yeah.
You're hearing a little bit of table talk.
Well, I think
but the laughs are full.
It helps that most things were filmed in clubs, and now most things are filmed in theaters.
And I don't know if they know how to really mic a theater, because the only good theater stuff that I've seen ever truly mic'd was, I do really think Comedy Central Presents used to do a really, really good job with how those sound. Like I used to love the half hour.
I actually saw something from you online during the Funny AF thing where it was like, people were like, why does it sound like everyone bombed on this? And you're like, everyone did well. I don't know what you're talking about.
It is insane. Like I got off stage from the semifinals because some people online were saying that I bombed, and I got off stage from a standing ovation. And like literally a standing ovation, and I walked the thing and I checked my phone and it's just like, Winston didn't have it tonight. I was like, what?
There was the episode where it was like one of the live ones, the first live one.
Yeah.
Where it seemed like everyone was like not doing great. I'm like, maybe this crowd's industry or something was weird. And then they did the replays to like refresh the audience's memory on who did what.
Yeah.
And you could hear the audience perfectly, and all of a sudden like Olivia Carter was doing that like really drawn out
crushing
thing, and it's crushing. But in the live version, like at first, it's like it didn't seem like.
And it crushed in the room. I went first. I had like a kind of unreal set going first. Like I was like out on stage feeling great, and then literally getting gaslit by the internet. I was like,
So
no.
funny.
I was like, but the thing was, and I think they maybe fixed it for the second show. I was there in person for the finale, so I don't know what it sounded like on TV. But huge theater, probably like not huge, just like 1,200, 1,400 people. The only mics for the audience were 8 mics at the front of the stage pointed to the front row. And that's the problem, is it's just like you're getting none of the laughs from the back. Like it's still 15 feet from the people in the front, because when you're in a theater, the front seat isn't right at the fucking stage. But yeah, man, I just think that just none of that shit is like, I don't think any of that stuff is mic'd properly. And I just feel like albums just used to sound better. And Patton's and Dan's, because they're in clubs, legitimately sound great. Like they're specials you can listen to.
I think there just needs to be more comedy in clubs. Like when was the last Netflix that was in a club? It just
Dude,
feels
I
like
don't know.
It's all theaters, and it's like, yes, keeping up with the Joneses a little bit. We get it. You're popular. You're cool. But like, if this was in a club, you would be like ripping.
Well, there's also people that will get Netflix specials or get specials, and it'll be in a theater, and they're not a theater act.
Yes.
And it's like you didn't. These people aren't here to see. You know what I mean? Like it's like whereas like if you did a club, you could probably fill like if I were to do one, like if by some miracle off of the Kevin Hart thing, I were to get like an hour or a half hour or something like that, I would want it in a club, and I would want it to kind of be in a club where I think I could sell well. You know what I mean?
And now you would stand out.
Yeah.
You know, because it looks different.
Yeah, but my thing is like maybe Netflix knows something we don't know, where it's like, maybe they're just like, people just don't care about that. Like a regular person doesn't care.
I think there's a thing too of like, you want to seem popular. You want to seem like you're doing well. Yeah. So like you want to be in the bigger room.
Yeah, was Romano's at, because the Cellar's like one of the few that I do think you'll see specials
Aziz
at.
and Ray Romano's were both at the Cellar.
Because like Romano's was great.
It was great. Yeah, he's so funny.
Yeah, he was the first one, because like how long have you been into the Cellar?
November 21.
Okay, so I'm November 25. So it's like and he was the first guy that I saw. Like he was my first week there. He was doing spots, and I was literally like, oh my god! Like he was the first one of the actual famous people. Where I'm like, this is like,
that's great. Kevin Hart was on my second show.
It's
insane. It was that in there, and you're like, oh, this is a different world.
Yeah, it's truly insane, because it's like everyone's great at the Cellar. Everyone's like really talented. There's a ton of good comics. So you can go to any show, and the show's going to be great. But then every now and then, you're just like, I don't know. I still can't get over sitting at the table, and it's like, okay, well, Quinn's here, Keith Robinson's here, Jim's here. You know, just being
Yeah.
like literally they're having a mini tough crowd reunion, and I'm just
Yeah.
sitting here like I'm just gonna shut my fucking mouth and kind of
Yeah.
like
Colin Quinn's so good, so nice.
yeah, so
too.
nice,
Yeah.
great guy.
Yeah.
Jim's nice.
Yeah.
Like I met like Bobby Kelly for the first time. Like he was doing spots, and like he was the one that I was the most prepared to be like, all right, he's gonna be like the old table, super nice.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, man, it's like the guard has really changed because I
Yeah.
felt like 15 years ago you'd just been getting ripped apart.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's a mix of everything, different times, they're being
Yeah.
older. I think just more people get passed, so it's tough to
Yeah.
haze a new guy when
Yeah.
it's like there's 4 other new people
Yeah.
right after them.
Yeah. It really is nuts. It does feel like there's like a lot of like, and I feel like part of that crew where it just is like, I feel like I'm at the point now where I come back like every other week or every 3 weeks or something, and every time I'm there's 3 or 4 comics on
Yeah,
the lineup that
there's
I've
new,
just
yeah.
never heard of before, and I'm like, damn, this is like kind of crazy. But the coolest thing for me was being a guy that didn't live in New York and but doing stand up for 11 years and being like someone that would get asked a lot to feature for people when they come through from
Mhm.
whatever. It was cool to go to the Cellar and like know a bunch of people already. Like it was cool
Yeah.
to know, you know, it was cool that
That's
we
the-
had worked
that's the thi-
together.
That's
It was
the
so
thing
cool.
of like waiting a little bit. I generally, and maybe this is bad advice, but I feel like you wait a little too long instead of doing it too
Yeah.
early. Because that way, yeah, you go into a place, you're like, oh, I know this person, I worked with this person, I worked with this person. You have like a little base there.
Yeah, it was just fun. Where it's like I saw you. I was like, oh, I know Shaun. That's awesome. Like Derek Stroop and I are buddies, and I've opened for him, and like
Nice.
so. And then the big one was like I met Nathan Mack, and we were talking at the Cellar, and I said, Nathan, I said after we talked a few times, I got to know him. I felt comfortable being like, I was like, Nathan, I said we've worked together before, and he goes, where? And I said, do you know Magooby's Comedy Club? And he goes, were you the host at the show where there were 2 drunk people in the front that started making a tower of beer cans? And then I pulled up a photograph that I have of it, and he goes, no fucking way that was you. He said, I could not remember who was there with me.
Wow.
We were there that weekend. It was his first weekend headlining because it was like right after he'd moved to the U.S. And so like it was my first time hosting at that club, and they pay hosts like nothing at that club. It's like $30 or something to host the show. So I was driving up from Richmond, making no money, sleeping on a friend's couch. And Nathan, this one show, it is not sold well at all, to the point where he's not using the microphone. He has dropped the microphone. He's screaming at people, and then there's these guys in the front that are, while he's yelling at people, making like 10 beer cans. He's like, what are you doing? Why are you here? It's like, Nathan.
Oh, that is
I love that
brutal.
dude, man.
So funny.
He's one of my favorites. He's one of my favorites because he's a guy that is, in my opinion, he's as funny off stage as he is on.
Yeah.
And like, especially when you get him rolling.
Oh,
He's
absolutely.
there's some guys that are like, man, him, Derek Stroop, just people that like you can, once you get them rolling, you're like, this is unbelievable, man. My first week there, Nathan's on stage and he's talking about the Trump wanting to buy Greenland or whatever,
Mhm.
and a guy in the audience goes, who cares? What's the big deal with that? And then Nathan gets off stage, he runs back like through the bar, he goes, I'm gonna kill somebody. just at the top of his lungs, I'm gonna kill somebody. Everybody's stupid. Damn, man. It's crazy. So what I guess like what's next for you? I know you're still doing like a bunch of road stuff in New York, like, but what like I don't know, man, like you've been in New York for
probably about 10 years.
okay, so
maybe a little
10
more.
in Buffalo,
Yeah.
10 in New York.
How long have you been doing stand up?
11.
Okay.
So right at 11, and I did it for like 5 in Richmond, and then like 6 here. Like we just hit like 6 here in DC. Do you ever miss Buffalo?
Yeah, but at this point I've been in New York long enough that it just like,
Was it a tough move? Like from
little-
like
a
in your
little
mind,
bit,
like it was
a
like a
little
hard
bit.
thing to.
It's just so much bit, and New York's just so even from DC to
Yeah,
New
dude,
York,
it's
it's just like
insane.
so different. It's so much. It's so loud.
I think it's a lot all the time.
It's a lot all the time, and you just got to get used to. Like once you're there, you're like, well, I'm just here, so I just gotta.
Yeah.
I'll love it.
Yeah.
you know.
I have a hard time. I love aspects of it because it's like it just is a thing where it's like my hometown's 400 people, and so when I started stand up, Richmond
Yeah.
was 200,000 people, and I'm like, this is a city.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
DC's like right at 1 million, and then I go to New York, and I'm like, I really can't like. I always feel like I'm in the fucking way, and I'm aware that I'm in the way, but I just that constant anxiety. I am like anxious on the train most of the time at night. Like
Oh,
when I'm
really?
done with the Cellar, because sometimes I'll get like a spot where it's like, pretty late.
Oh yeah,
Get a little
I
late
do a
spot.
lot of ladies
Yeah, a
now.
lot of ladies. Yeah, because it's so funny because mine will be all over the place, but then every now and then it'll be like a really late one, which is fine. It's still fun, but it is the only part that's frustrating is if I'm staying with a friend in Brooklyn, I'll finish the Cellar and it'll be like 2:15, and
Mhm.
then depending on the way that it's running, it's like all right, I got to take the D or the A down to the J. Now I have to wait 20 minutes for the J, and then like it's like there's times where I finished at 2 a.m. at the Cellar and I got back to my buddy's house at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck? I thought this place was supposed to be convenient. Like, what the fuck? I should have walked.
I do that a lot. I get a lot of late spots, and I've done a lot of those
Yeah,
late
those
subway
late nights.
rides.
And I can't be, and I am like late sometimes on those, especially some of those Brooklyn trains or whatever. I am like anxious because I'm not used to it yet.
Yeah.
Like the type of crazies that are there, and like so. At least here, it's like I'm 30 minutes outside the city, so I got a car ride home where I can like listen to something, and I'm in the subway like trying desperately. Oh no, I'm the only person on this car. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah, I have been pretty good luck, knock on wood, with like the subway. Sometimes you'll find more scary people in like the afternoon or something like
Okay.
that. Sometimes late at night, like there's everyone's like sleeping.
Yeah,
There's
fair.
like people like on the subway sleeping. And
That's a good way to think about it because I have noticed because a lot of times I'll take the early Amtrak home, so I'm on the subway like 4 in the morning.
Mhm.
I have noticed when at like 4 we've officially switched into people getting to work time.
Yeah.
So there is like something about like because I took subway a couple days ago to get to Penn Station, and I was nervous because it was my first time where if you have a train before 5 a.m. You have to go through Penn Station. You can't do Moynihan train hall because it's like closed.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah, it's
right.
closed.
Yeah.
So like I'd never done that before, and so I'm like nervous and I get on the train. It's like and it's all construction workers, and I'm like, this is great. I was like, this is
Yeah.
everyone's working, everyone's kind of sleepy.
And sometimes like at late at night, there's drunk people that it's like they'll like if
Yeah.
someone's gonna attack someone, they're first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
like
yeah.
you'll be okay,
Yeah,
or
you'll be
they're
fine.
just nice and they're kind of like
Yeah.
talking to you.
Yeah,
and
which is
it's-
fine.
Yeah.
I'll handle that. We've talked a lot. We talked like I mean, it's been a lot of special talk, which is good because I like because this podcast just is it's like kind of all over the place. But I mean, there's nothing I like more than talking stand up. Like
Yeah.
truly, it is like it's gross how much fun it is to like really
Mhm.
talk about it and how boring it would be to anyone that doesn't give a shit. But like so before you started or when you started, like who were the guys that you most either made you want to do stand up or like, oh, these are the specials, like these are the best ones. Like,
Hedberg was my guy.
oh
when I
really?
started, yeah.
Okay.
Which is funny because like I feel like there's none of that, or not a lot of that in me.
Yeah.
But
Because I would never guess that. Because generally, Hedberg guys, you can tell.
Yeah,
you can,
absolutely.
because they're just doing that guy on stage.
100%. But he was like a rock star to like
Yeah.
my friend group.
Yeah.
Just because he's so unique, so funny. Even still, I think holds up incredibly.
Unbelievable, man. The jokes are so. I mean, and he's another one. Just like they're just so simple. Like some of the ones that are just so perfect are so simple. Like I used to do drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I still do, but I used to do them too.
Yeah.
Like there's just something just really just like, man, that's so. You get
And there's
almost
so many
annoyed.
of his that I just think of. You ever heard the pizza? What's the pizza joke? I
don't
think?
know.
Because okay, we'll see if I could get this right. Hopefully, but he said he got a slice of pizza and he's like, he gave me the smallest slice imaginable. If that pizza was a pie of what people would do if they won $1 million, the fucker gave me the donate to charity slice. He's like, I would like to exchange this for the keep it.
Yeah.
Like everything about that is
That's a great
so
joke, man. Well, one of his
funny.
albums is like he is one of the best. In the albums, I can't remember where that was, but one of the best responses to a heckler I've ever heard. Like it was like it's the one where the guy's name is like Phil or something
Oh,
like that,
yeah.
and the guy's heckling him. His name's Phil, but like there's a whole workaround where like I wish I could remember it, but I remember it being kind of unreal because he takes the name Phil and he makes a joke about like filling something up, but it tied to one of his jokes. It was
Yeah.
like everything worked perfectly, and it's like what the fuck are we even doing, man? Like if this guy's brain is working like that, man. I've heard he was like he was definitely a rock star to like. The people that were huge when I was like young was like people loved Hedberg, Dane was huge. Like
Yeah.
Cook was kind of like huge in a way that was like, oh, everybody likes this guy. It's so good. Chappelle for sure. But like, yeah, Hedberg. Yeah, I would have never guessed that for you.
Yeah, it was Hedberg and Conan.
Oh, Conan.
Yeah,
Okay.
were my two, which like obviously not stand up, but it was like I watched so much Conan growing up.
Damn. Yeah, man, I used to love.
And just being a tall, pasty white guy, like that all kind of fit
really
in.
spoke to you in a way.
Really,
really spoke to you. Yeah, that's. I think a thing that's such a bummer is like a lot of the stuff I want to do in comedy doesn't exist anymore. And like
I was telling this to someone recently that like a thing of like I really wanted to do Conan, and then like that went, and then it's like. When it first hit, like WTF was so big, I was like, "Oh, that'd be a fun thing to do."
On WTF.
And like that doesn't exist, and it is funny we exist in a thing. I was just having this conversation with a buddy that like things that are big, I don't really want to do.
Yeah,
you know, like you'd be like, "Oh, you could do this show," and be like, "Nah, I don't really want to do that." I guess if it's good for my career, I'll do it. I guess
I have done things like not a lot, but I've done a couple things where like. People when I talk to them like they're like what do you want to do, and I have people that dreams like, oh, I want to have a don't tell, and I'm like, that's your dream, because but it's nuts because it's like I know it's huge, I'm glad I got to do it, and like don't tell is an unreal thing, but like for me my stuff was like I want to do Comedy Central Presents more than anything. I wanted a half hour. It's like I want to do a Conan set would be truly incredible to do those type of things. WTF would have been amazing to be on, and then it's just like, oh, all the shit I care about, like even having an HBO hour, and that doesn't really matter anymore. You know what I mean? Like you can still get that, but it doesn't. It's like the smallest thing on the HBO Max. You don't even know when it's coming out. There's a couple stinkers on that too, though.
Oh, HBO.
There's like, oh man, there's one in particular. Ooh, I'm not gonna talk about it. But there's one that I saw that was like,
can't wait till we're done recording.
There's one I was watching it. I was watching it with my friend Sandy, and we're watching it, and like I thought it was a special that she was really gonna like, and then we get 15 minutes into it, and I pause it and I go, what do you think? And she goes, it's the worst thing I've ever seen. And I was like, thank fuck, I couldn't finish it. I need to finish it, but I couldn't finish. It was it wasn't as bad as the one we've been talking about, but it was a type of bad that was like, I'm getting no joy out of this. Like this is kind of psycho bad.
To circle back, another great thing about watching bad ones is I feel like I sometimes get to tell comics, I'm like, do you know that blah 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 is taking a shoe and shoving it up his ass, his closer? And people are like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? There's like things that I'll tell people, they're like, they're doing what? Like there's stuff that's going on in some of these specials that is really truly insane.
So I'll tell you this one. This is I'll for sure say names in this one because I don't get this one. I don't give a shit. So one of the funniest comedy moments I've ever had was I was at Richmond, the Richmond Funny Bone. I was not working the show. Steve-O came to town, and Steve-O was headlining, and it was like when he was first starting to do stand-up, and I was like, I love Jackass, let me go see it. And I don't have any issues with the show, but the show was like he would tell a story, and then he would do a trick.
That's what I've heard.
But here's the thing, I wasn't mad that he was doing it, so I'm not talking shit. Talking. His closer was he takes all his clothes off but his boxers. He shakes around like this. He gets his dick between his legs, and he pulls it down. And he looks like a girl. You know what I mean? Like that's just what the the closer is. I am sitting behind someone who leans over to his friend and goes, "That's Andy Dick's closer." And I literally I start crying laughing.
So
someone that's just mad about like he stole that from Andy Dick.
That's so funny.
Andy Dick has a crazy album from like when I was a kid where he says the N-word on it a lot.
Well, that's the thing when you play this game too, and you'll hear like even like people that are like very progressive now, you'll hear like their first album and you're like, damn, you were saying that? We have audio of you saying that? Like there's some like crazy things out there.
Yeah, dude, when you hear some like really insane stuff where he had like Andy Dick has one where it's like involves the N-word, and he's like, but he's naming like a snack that, so he just keeps saying, I want N-words, but he's talking about candy.
Oh, no.
I probably listened to that album a bunch too. Yeah, there's a lot of guys where it's like I wasn't even like a huge Andy Dick fan, but it just was like when I was younger, there's way too much stand up available right now. Like
I know you kind of wish. There's another thing. Are you ready for this pet peeve here?
Yeah.
No. Okay. I wonder sometimes if anyone really likes stand up.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like they like it enough to go see it, of course.
Yes.
But I mean, if you look online, a lot of people watch stand up, but like no one. Why don't we have anyone that like reviews stand up? Even these people that like make Instagram videos or YouTube things, they're all about like beef, and they're all about podcasts. They're all about podcasts. And even specials that are bad, their fans will go like, well, yeah, they're bad at stand-up, but their podcast is incredible.
Yeah.
And you're like, who cares?
Who gives a shit?
You listen to someone else blow JD Vance. You need a new version of that. Like it's like so confusing to me. Like, and you wonder like, do you just not care? Like, again, people care in general. Like like stand-up sells well. People will like go
Here's the thing, even if you don't like stand-up, it's fucking fun to go to a good show.
Yeah.
There are people that go to the Comedy Cellar thinking they don't like stand-up, and they will see 6 of the best comics they've ever seen in their life, and you realize, oh, this is actually fun.
Right.
It's the equivalent of people being like, oh, hockey's good live.
Yes. But there are like there are music fans, right, that'll be like, this Led Zeppelin album is better than this Led Zeppelin. But how many people are going like, I like Bigger Blacker better than, you know, like,
so outside of comics and outside of like crazy, that doesn't happen. But I think it's because I think it's our fault. Because I think we push back so hard about any form of actual criticism. Like,
I also think that's true.
Yeah, like you can't fucking tell me what to do. What the fuck do you know? That I think there is no legitimate stand-up comedy criticism. Where it's like there's tons of great literary criticism, great film criticism,
of course.
And the thing is, it's like those directors and people don't necessarily like those people either. But I do think it's part of your art being respected. Like there's a guy who works for the Washington City paper here, and he's reached out to me, and he has talked about like they're working to try to have a local beat of like art stuff, and they're gonna have a local stand-up beat. And I'm like, I am so excited for the idea of like, because he's like, what are some stuff you like? I said, some people might not agree with this. I think if there's like a local comic doing an hour, it's like you should go review it. Yeah. And you should go and you should write what do you don't like about it and what do you like about it. Because it might make people upset or whatever, but it's also a thing where it's like
we get so like, oh yeah, like you said, like, oh, you can't say that, you can't, but like Martin Scorsese isn't like, I can't believe they gave a bad review to my, like he just takes it.
Yeah, he's like, they didn't like it, they're wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, let them be wrong.
But we really get in our feelings when people criticize
Well,
us.
we want to be, I think a lot of comics want stand-up to be considered legitimate and like a legitimate art form, and they're unwilling to make the sacrifices to make that happen.
Well, I also hate this thing, and we kind of were touching on this about like, there's this big thing in comedy where like you never apologize for a joke, and it's like, but it's like, what do you? We're first of all, we're dumb. I don't know if you've met me. We're some of the dumbest people you've ever met in your entire fucking life.
Yeah, we're lucky. We're just clever.
Yeah,
there's a difference between intelligence and being quick and clever.
So like we're wrong all of the time. Yeah. People are wrong all of the time in general, even if you're not an idiot.
Yeah.
So like, why wouldn't you apologize?
It does nothing. It hurts no one to apologize.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you don't think you're wrong, don't apologize. But this idea of like, you're not omnipotent. You're not God. Of course, you're going to be wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you do a joke and you're like, they didn't like that. Oh, maybe I'll. So maybe it's just like, maybe I tweak these couple words and I still do it. Or maybe it's like, maybe that joke is bullshitty and I'll drop it. Like, this idea, again, never apologize. So I never wrong. So I can't be criticized. And you're just like, it's weak.
It's weak. It is very weak. It's like we don't want actual criticism. But like I do think, and it won't be in our lifetime, but I think if that starts soon and we start having like, oh yeah, this is so and so. He is the stand-up critic at the New York Times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, and he's going to shows, he's writing about people. And there's some stuff. I mean, like what's his name? Jesse David Fox, the Vulture.
I was gonna say there's Vulture, but like even then it's pretty limited. And I will say, I think the stand-up criticism that does exist falls into this trap, and it's understandable.
Yeah.
But like, it's way easier to write an article about like Gerard Carmichael than it is Dave Attell.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you think about either of those people, because like Gerard, you could be like, you're coming out later in life, black man he's dealing with this, and he's talking about this, and Attell, you're like, that dick joke's very good. This what you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
You have to really. You almost have to be a great comic in order to actually break down why.
Yes.
Like, and I was having this conversation with my wife, and I've mentioned it 4 or 5 times already, but like, with the Dan Mintz special, I was trying to explain why, like what makes that so good, and she's like, oh yeah, because they're Mr. X, the jokes are good or whatever. And then my wife goes and we start talking, and even though she's not a comic, we both agree there's like, what makes him special is when someone has a pattern of this is how they do jokes, part of the fun is trying to guess what the punchline's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're good enough that we're guessing wrong.
Right.
Like, and that's what his is. That's why his is so watchable for 43 minutes. Is it's all misdirections, and every last one you're like, all right, what's the next mystery? Same thing with Jesselnick, where you're like, I know it's going to be a dark one-liner. Let's see if I can guess it. And then when you don't guess it, you're like, damn, that's even better. But like, I think if you're not like someone that's super in tune to stand up, you wouldn't even understand that that's part of why you're enjoying it.
Right.
Like, you're just like, oh, it's funny.
Well, I read this movie reviewer once, and he's like, you have to talk about like at least some of the aspects of the movie besides the story in your review. You got to be like, this editor kills it, the lighting, the different variations of what makes it a film. Yeah. And two, sometimes I think of that with comedy is like there needs to be some aspect of like you're looking at it from different points of view other than just like, sociological or what. Like some of those big quote unquote like kind of indie ones that hit, it's because people can write about them in a like say whatever you want about like Nanette, but like you were able to write about that from a cultural point of view in a way that you aren't often in terms of other stand-up, which is fine, but like some of these people just need the tools to write about stand-up in a way that we all talk about stand-up.
Because it gets that thing, as comics, we all talk about this stuff. And I'm also someone that's like, I do think they do good work over at Vulture.
Yeah,
like I do. Like when I get to read that stuff,
and I like that they're like the only ones that do it. Occasionally the New York Times, and then occasionally Vulture, and that's like pretty much it. There's not even like some YouTube guy being like, "Here are the new specials this week, and here's what I liked and didn't like." I think
if there was a guy writing like that, I think I would read it all the time.
I would read it all the time. Yeah,
because like literally, guys, I'm reading every Vulture thing that comes out. That's like about like an actual stand-up thing.
It would be just nice to have someone be like, this special 4 stars, this special 1 star. Here's what I liked. Here's what I didn't like.
Here's the other thing is like I think a lot of times stand-up reviews, it's never, we also aren't really graded in a way that's like, even when Vulture them does it, it's never like 3 out of 4 stars. It's never 2.5 out of 4. It's always like, this is the best thing I've ever seen, or like, this is Republican. Like it, like you know what I mean? It's never like, it's like I don't know, man. I would like some of those specials that people pile on and say are bad or don't like or whatever. A lot of the times it is because culturally those specials are wrong. Like the stuff they're talking about is wrong.
Exactly.
But it's like that should be only one facet of what they're being talked about. They're being wrong.
Exactly.
Where it's like if someone was writing about like, no, these are bad because these jokes are hacked. These are bad because this is like he does a bad job in this. He like that type of stuff. But I think that I agree with you. I think they just kind of get caught up and stuck in. Even when the really good places write about it, it's always like, this is great, you should watch it. But there's never like, well, yeah, they're all great. Which one's greater than the other one? Why do you like this one better?
And sometimes they kind of fall into the thing of like the famous person trap.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of comics know it's like this special might not be as good because I haven't seen that person. I haven't heard about them being on the road.
Yeah.
Comedy, it's like anything. You need to put time into it to make it good. And then you're like, it's so funny. You'll hear about like, oh, blah, blah, blah is releasing a special next month. It's like, they're doing stand-up again? Yeah. It's like when you're in the business, that should not be what you're...
Yeah, when you're in it, you're like really? Yeah. He's on the road.
Yeah.
He didn't know what dates are he doing.
Did you know Rotten Tomatoes has specials on it? I never even thought about looking,
I
does.
do, but like I always wonder because I feel like it's for like very big, like Chappelle will be on there, but like I wonder how low it goes on that...
They're mostly audience ratings, not critic ratings. But it would be like, imagine a site where it's like audience ratings and then it's comics leaving like a critic rating. Like that would be fascinating to me.
Oh yeah, like anonymous, like that would be really interesting.
I would gladly open myself up to criticism if it was like someone was making an effort and it was well thought out. Like, you know what I mean? Like if they're like, I'm like, people, and I think another thing is like comics, like we push back against it because we have people at our shows telling us we suck in the middle of the thing. So there is like that added thing about like, why the fuck do I want to invite more
comedy
of this?
Does feel, I don't not get it because comedy feels more personal. Like you make a film, you could say it's personal, but it is clearly separate from you.
Yeah.
Whereas like when someone's telling you suck on stage, you feel like, well, this is just me.
Yeah.
And this is like, like it feels very personal.
I agree. And I think it's just because all the criticism we see is like, you suck, you great, whatever, is I do think it would be refreshing to have like a guy that's like, I don't know, because also I think those dudes would build a reputation where it's like, oh, so-and-so's coming to your show tonight. And you're like, well, I guess I really better fucking turn it on tonight. Fucking so-and-so's
like restaurant reviewers.
Yeah, like restaurant critics or whatever. It's like I guess I really got to like really bring it. If fucking...
Well, I just think also the more people writing, it inevitably is going to help comedy.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, like even if you get some bad reviews, like the rising tide will lift all boats. And just more people writing about it. And I just don't understand.
I also think you would get better at comedy if
you would get better
if you
at
were
comedy.
reading
Yes.
well.
You would
if you're
get
reading
feedback.
well-written things
Yes.
about why your stuff doesn't work,
Yes.
as opposed to like it being like, oh, you suck, you're not funny. But it was just like, this joke didn't work because of these things. And you might not agree with it, but I think just having that in your mind, I think would help a lot of people.
But it's just so weird to me that like so many people go to stand up, so many people watch stand up, but there's not that ecosystem of like people writing about, or even just like making YouTube videos about stand up. It's very bizarre.
It is
to me.
almost always the gossip or the drama or so and so's mad or like so and so's having a mental breakdown. But it is like there is no like Anthony Fontano, you know what I mean? The needle drop guy that does all the record stuff. You know that the bald guy that like is constantly he's awesome. He just does records all the time. It's all albums.
Yeah.
He's really harsh, but like he knows what the hell he's talking about. Like having that guy to be like, oh man, you know, so and so reviewed the Shaun Murphy special, and it's like, let's go see what he had to say.
Yeah,
you know
of
what I mean?
course.
Like, that's the dream, dude. Oh man.
Just
So what
the,
is
the special that you were talking about earlier that you watched twice?
Yeah.
5%.
5%? That's psychotic. Because I don't know who the like. It's the type of thing where like 5 is so much higher than I thought people would like it.
Yeah, well,
That's audience review.
it's just audience review. It's 100+ reviews.
Wow.
5
But
out
then
of 100
like
people.
something special, Norm Macdonald special, 100% by critics, 85 from audience. Like a lot of the big ones have critic ones too. Bergatzi's 100%, Gillis 92.
Yeah, I'm really
It's fascinating.
It is fascinating because it's just I just feel like we don't get star ratings on our stuff. I feel like we just get like this was good, this was bad,
Yeah.
and they just don't do a great job of writing about it. But I'm hoping the guy with the Washington City paper, he seems excited. We're gonna hang out soon and he wants to do like an interview. But then I think it's gonna start being like he's gonna just do like a story in the paper every 2 weeks about a different comic, about something that's going on, about a big show. And I told him, I said, man, I said he had like a psychotic idea, and like I told him, I was like, brother, I was like, you cannot do this. He goes, what if we had like a thing where like with the coaches poll, where it's like we ask all the active comics to rank all the other
Oh my lord.
all the active comics, and then we have like a top 10 ranking every week of who the comics are in DC. And I was like, that is, people will crash out in a way. He's like, it's purely anonymous. I was like, you can't do that, man.
I don't want that.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, you just send it out. They fill out who their top 25 are.
Plus,
in the
with
city.
local scenes, there's so much more than just reviewing talent.
I
Like
know.
we have relationships.
Dude,
and
I
stuff.
know, but he's like, yeah, but that would tell people to know what shows to go to, because they'll see that the
Now, first of all, doing it weekly is crazy.
Yeah,
Like if you do it yearly, okay, I'm at least thinking about it. Or
No,
every
he's
single
like, every week-
weekly.
every week you get
it's
your-
so funny. It's like, oh, Winston had a bad set on Monday.
yeah,
Like,
you gotta get the coaches pull out every week type of thing.
It's
But
like I was sick. Like
Yeah.
what the fuck?
it would be nuts because they did the Washington Post did one in town where it was like they had a lady. She went to one show at one club, and then that same night she went to a show at another club, and then she wrote like an article that was like the 10 comics to watch, and she didn't see all the comics.
Right.
And so there were a lot of people that were like actively furious that they were not on this top 10 list or whatever. And it was so funny because there were people truly not feeling good for their really close friends that were in the top 10. But it was a thing where I was like, oh yeah, if we were doing this every week and it was us voting on it, people would lose their minds, because we lost our minds when the paper did it and we couldn't just be happy for our 10 friends that got it. People were like losing their shit, dude. But like I was like, yeah, man, I was like, it was the only idea he said where I was like, I don't think I said I actively think
I don't
that.
know. I think I'm for the chaos.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I was like, that would
be
fun.
I guess
It
for
would be a
our perspective,
problem.
it's terrible, but for readers, it's
He's like,
probably
yeah. He's like,
fun.
I would just ask and he like I said, how would you pick?
I would think you would just do it one time.
Yeah.
The weekly thing is insane, but do a one-time ranking where like you go to like he could get names from you. Be like, give me 75 comics that live in the DC area, and then they all submit their top 10 ballots.
Yeah.
And then that would be pretty interesting.
It would be crazy, dude. It would be legitimately. Yeah, he said it, and I was like, I said, man, I think that would not endear you to the local community, because all his other ideas were so supportive and awesome and dope. And this one was like, I thought the idea was very funny, but it was hard not to think about close personal friends getting angry that they're ranked one behind one of their friends. I love
So
it, dude.
funny. I do think as you get older, you have to kill that part of your
Yeah,
your
you
brain.
got to get rid of it.
Because it's just like you do comedy long enough and the amount of people that pass you by
Yeah.
is like infinite.
Yeah.
And you just got to be like, well, what are you going to do?
And I think the easiest thing for me was when I just was like, oh, it doesn't. A lot of people's success is not correlated to their ability at all.
Yeah.
It really isn't. Like that's
Yeah.
just not how it's not how entertainment works.
Yes.
It's literally just like the best you can hope for is to be like, if people come to see me live, are they like, are you good at what you do?
Yeah.
Like you can only be an artist and a craftsman. That's all you can really like handle it, whatever. You can't handle because some people getting mega famous and you're like, well, that's the worst comedian I've ever seen in my life.
And it's weird because we all instinctively know that. Like your most favorite movie of the year probably isn't the movie that made the most amount of money.
Yeah.
Or like whatever, your favorite musician probably
Yeah.
isn't the biggest musician in the world.
Yeah.
Like, so we all inherently know that, but it's funny how our minds can trick us into being like,
yeah, so you get into comedy like it's totally a meritocracy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so fair.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna get exactly what they deserve.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, brother, not even.
and there's nothing wrong with a nice, B- career.
No, it really. There legitimately is nothing
Yeah.
fucking wrong with it. I remember when I started stand up and I was like, man, I can't wait to just. I hope I'm just a middle act my entire career because there is just something about like the industry's changed so much that you talk to like real old road dogs and they're like, yeah, their entire career was featuring in the 80s and they were making thousands of dollars a weekend.
That was like when I first started, it was like the tail end of people being like a middle act would just comics couldn't bring people. So you would just middle for random people, you'd get a hotel room, you'd make good money, you'd sell merch. And it was like, that sounds
because they used to pay like actually more. Like in the 80s, there's like I've heard people talk about like, I was featuring for so and so and I made $2,000 that weekend featuring. So they're doing like 5 shows and they're making like $400 a show off of that plus whatever merch they're bringing.
Yeah.
And it's like, and there's a comedy condo and you're getting fucked up at the bar with like everybody and like you said, because they couldn't bring people, you're working with famous fucking people.
Yeah.
And there's people that had really long comedy careers as being like road feature acts and like. Because I started in 2015, and so like I was at the tail end of like features, because like I worked like the Funny Bones, and the Funny Bones they were doing the like, oh, you don't bring your feature, we hook people up, and like and I remember 2016, 2017, my friends that were full-time features were like, yeah, man, I got like 35 weekends last year, and like this year I only got 9 because everybody's bringing.
And
everyone.
I'm very divided about that because I do think, if good comics normally bring good features, bad comics normally bring bad features because they want to be the best comic on the show. Yeah. And nowadays, when you have more bad comics headlining because of TikTok and whatever,
shows are bad.
There's a lot of like, because you'll see a bad comic and you'll be like, oh, they're at this club next weekend, and you're like, but God, imagine their opener's probably worse than they are. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, that is just a bad. And if you don't know that person, you just wander in, you see that show. It's
because the comedy must be bad.
Yeah,
if this is like the most famous person.
Even if it is like a local person that they give you, like I've opened for like big TikTok names who are not necessarily famous for stand up. The crowds don't even like stand up. Like they're not stand up fans.
Yeah, they're not. They're
so it's like I might be doing well, and maybe they're surprised that I like this or something.
Yeah,
but it's still like they're not comedy crowds.
Like back to like when I saw Steve-O, his feature that first time was like a regional headliner guy, and like the crowd was like loved him because he went up and he was like murdering, and it was just nuts to be like, man, that guy made $100 tonight, and he really put it on Steve-O's ass. And then, but no one cared. And Steve-O made like $80,000 that weekend, I think, or something.
So someone, I forget who it was. Some like famous person from like, maybe say like the Jersey Shore or something like that, had this great idea where they hosted.
Awesome.
They hosted, and then they would hire 4 locals to do like 20 minutes. And it's kind of good for everyone because it's like, well, this guy doesn't need to do fucking an hour of not having an hour. He realizes he's just there to get pictures with people. Yeah. People could say they see him. Then all the locals get to go up and kill. Yeah. They get more time, some more money. Yeah. And it's kind of like a win for everyone. And it's like more clubs should just be like, Okay, but do you have an hour?
Yeah.
Otherwise, let's just do this. You
Yeah.
still come.
Yeah, you'll still make the same amount
You'll
of
still
money.
make the same amount, and you'll do less work.
Yep.
It's like a win-win for everyone.
That's actually a really, really good idea. And the thing is, some of the internet people figure it out eventually. Like, I do think they do figure out how to do it. Like, I think, you know, brought him up a couple times, but just like, I do think Steve-O now is like a lot better at stand-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think he actually works to get good at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, those guys that don't have the hour, it's like that's such a good idea. Just be like, yep, you come in, you host. Because I'm like, it has eliminated, like, now shows are worse when people bring people. Because I would say at least half the time they're bringing someone weaker than them.
Yeah.
Like, it's just they just are, because you just don't want, or just weaker than should be featuring. You know.
Of course.
And I do think it might be like an ego thing, or just like blah blah blah, like I just want, you know, like, I have to be the best on the show, because if someone really, because no one likes to get buried.
That's another secret thing I get really mad at, is I feel like a lot of comedians have made stand up worse.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a perfect example of like a thing of like, there's a lot of killer acts out there, or not even killer acts, but a lot of like decent comics or lifelong comics that you go like, you're bringing that guy?
Yeah.
You go like, okay. And it's not even like a jealous thing. It's just like, bring any, it doesn't have to be me, but bring any other.
Yeah, anyone else that's good.
Yeah. And there is, you see that a lot with comedy, like just little things where I'm like, I feel like we're devaluing the art form ourselves a lot of times.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I think nothing has hurt stand-up comedy more than stand-up comedians.
Yeah.
Like,
Unfortunately,
I actually think that. And on that note, you got anything coming up you want to plug or say?
I have 2 specials on YouTube. Look out, go watch them, please.
Yeah.
Follow me on Instagram.
Go watch them.
Review them.
Leave a full review. I can't take any criticism. I was just talking shit earlier. Follow me on Instagram. I have no followers. I would appreciate. I got to get out of the weeds. And I think that's it. I think I'm starting a pod.
Woo!
It's comedians basically playing Jeopardy, like trivia.
Oh, that's great.
And I think it's going to be pretty fun. We did a couple test episodes.
It's fun.
You know, there's not enough comedians out there saying wrong facts confidently.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
I feel like if we lean
that's
into
great.
that.
Oh, that sounds awesome. That sounds like incredible.
So yeah, look out for that on my YouTube, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been Shaun Murphy. I've been Winston Hodges. It's been Dog Name, and we'll catch you next time.